What's up, guys? Pimashad here. Friday the 13th, the Kickstarter game that I backed a couple of months ago, has released its multiplayer side of the game. Been playing a few games of it, so this is kind of like my first impressions, kind of going to talk you through the game. I'm going to try, it's going to put me in randomly as a counsellor or Jason. I'm going to try and do both if I can. So yeah, it's a Kickstarter game. It's a work in progress. It's not finished. It's got a few glitches. It's got a few bugs, but I still think it's going to be one of these cult games that everyone plays. Well, it depends. I just think it's going to be a bit. I think it's quite harsh to review it in the state it's in now because it just won't do well in the reviews. Like I said, it's not finished. There's going to be a lot of a few more Jasons to play as. There's going to be a few more counsellors added. They're adding a single player later on this year. I think they just released it because there was a high demand for it. People who obviously supported the Kickstarter, but there's about 15 people working on this game. So, you know, you kind of, I would go in expecting it not to be kind of a Left 4 Dead kind of experience. But I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's a bit daunting. It doesn't really have a really great tutorial. It's just kind of a really long tutorial that you've got to read through. I actually went online the other day and some guy started helping me and we went to a private match together and he was kind of showing me the basics. So I had to go at being Jason, I had to go at being a counsellor. He was telling me how to work the game and stuff. So there's 7 counsellors and 1 Jason. Each counsellor's got, obviously it's a stereotype, you know, you've got the slutty girl, the jock, the nerd. Oh, I'm Jason, which is kind of cool. So this is, you're going to see some Jason gameplay.
So pretty. Kill them all, Jason.
There's Pamela Voorhees' head. So, my goal as Jason is to kill the counsellors, obviously, and you've got perks. You've got 5 bear traps that you can put down. You don't get all your perks straight away. You can slash, you can grab. Every Jason has a different ability. This one can't run, but is really fast underwater. Jason has a cabin on every match, and the counsellors can go to Jason's cabin, but if you are a female counsellor, you can actually wear Pamela Voorhees' jumper or sweater, and when Jason gets, you can use it as you can pretend to be Jason's mother if he attacks you, and you can tell him to put the weapon down, and he kind of just gets a bit docile for a bit and gives you a chance to run away. But I can warp anywhere on the map by pressing circle. I can, anywhere I fancy going, I can warp. Jason's cabin's on an island, so that's handy. So nobody's going to get my mother's jumper. I can sense, but when you're underwater, you're really fast. With this Jason, I think this is part 7 Jason. I'm not too sure. All these little blinking white circles are the counsellors making a lot of noise. Like I said, different counsellors have different abilities. Some have really got a really high stealth. Some have got, so if they're crouched, they can then kind of mask their sounds and stuff. You've got sense, which is this, and I can tell that somebody's in this cabin now. If a counsellor runs into a cabin, you don't know where they are in the cabin, you just know that they're in the cabin because the cabin goes red. Jason can't go through windows, but he can smash doors down, as we're going to do now. But there's a counsellor there.
Anyone out there? You have to come to Camp Crystal Lake.
So he's calling the police, the counsellor. There's different ways the counsellors can escape.
Help! Help! Please, someone!
Oh, he missed.
Oh God!
So he's phoned the police.
That's my Jason. That's my special boy.
So that I think the police are going to be turning up in a certain amount of time. I'm not too sure. Or maybe, I don't know, because there's two things you can, when you're a counsellor, you can either escape in a car, but you've got to find a battery and some gas and the key. You can escape in a boat, but you've got to find a propeller and some gas or petrol, and then escape. Or you can phone the police, and the police take about 5 minutes to get here, and you've got to wait for the police and then run to the area where the police turn up. And then you've got Tommy Vargas, I think his name is. He was from one of the Jason movies. That's the guy who's just shot me. He comes. You can contact him on the CB radio, and he turns up with a shotgun. But he is somebody. So if somebody escapes or dies, and when Tommy Vargas or whatever his name is called, it randomly spawns somebody back in who either died or escaped to play as the guy who and he spawns with a shotgun. But I think it's a good game. I mean, it's a fun game. It's hide and seek. It's probably asking a bit much for the price. I paid about £30 for it, considering it's not a full game. Like I said, it is a work in progress. So he's just flared me, and this girl's going to try and have a... the counsellors can actually kill Jason. I don't know how it's done, but I think they've all got to work together. If you damage Jason enough, you can knock his mask off. That's how you know you're doing great damage on him. The counsellors can use weapons like axes, machetes, baseball bats, pipes, branches to knock him out. I'll explain the counsellors a bit more when I play as actually a counsellor, but for now we'll just play as Jason. And this is another ability we can do, so we can look around to see who's making noise. There's a guy over there, and we can use shift, which lets us fly over to that vicinity for a short period of time. And you can also use stalk. And the way that the counsellors can tell if Jason's nearby is if the music changes. It gets more kind of horror and more intense, like it is now. There's a guy here. So I've used stalk now. This is another perk that you can use, and that stops the music. So you can kind of sneak up on people. You can also find these little daggers that you can throw, which are kind of cool. But we'll try and go this way again. So it's a lot of teamwork. I mean, so far as a counsellor, I've escaped in a car. I haven't done the police yet. The only bad thing about this Jason is that he can't walk. He can't run. But the levels are really authentic. The graphics, I'm quite happy with the graphics, the way it looks. Like I said, there has been a few issues that I've played where one match I was actually floating in the sky as a counsellor. Now she's trapped in the barn now. I've stopped the music, so hopefully she'll come out and think, oh, he's gone.
Jason, my boy, do you know what your gift is? No matter what they do to you,
So she shot me, but you can't die. Apparently, well, your mother says you can't die, but you can die. But you've all got to work together to kill Jason. Apparently it's very hard. I don't know what you've got to do. I think you've all just got to kind of focus on him. I've nearly got my rage meter up, which that means I think I can just walk through doors. And like I said, every Jason's got a weakness. One of them can run. One of them can. They've all got different weapons. See, and counsellors can also, if they find a radio, like a musical radio, in.
They've come for me, Jason. Don't let them take me.
So somebody's gone to try and get my mother's jumper. So the counsellor's in there.
That's my boy. Hunt them
Counters
down,
can hide under
make
beds
them
and stuff, and
pay.
if you think that somebody's under a bed, you can stab them and stab closets and stuff like that. So I think they fought it out quite well. Also, I'm in a party right now, so because I'm talking direct to you guys. But when you're playing the actual game, the voice chat is kind of you can only talk to people that are really really close by. And in fact, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and put a trap down outside here in case one of them tries to leave. So that didn't work, which was cool. But we'll just try and smash this door down. Maybe I'll try and throw another knife. So I got her in the back, which was kind of cool. I think she's barricaded herself in, so she hasn't locked this door. Now I caught her in the trap, which is kind of cool. I've never done that before. But it's one of them games, like, I don't think it's going to get boring. I think they're going to add new maps. There's like 4 maps. There's Crystal Lake and all the other like camps from
That's my special.
the movies and
special
stuff.
boy.
But I'm enjoying it. Was really excited. That's why I wanted to back it on Kickstarter, because it wasn't a movie. It wasn't solely based on a certain movie. It was kind of based on all of them. Being Jason is awesome. Being a counsellor is I wouldn't say it's terrifyingly scary, but it is. It's like you get a bit of adrenaline when you try to hide, and you know Jason's in the area and you can see him, and the moonlight bounces off his head and he's walking towards you with a machete. So somebody's in that house. And they're trying to get this car.
Jason, Mother is talking to you. Put the weapon down and come to Mommy.
So she's used the vest. The vest. I keep saying vest. The jumper.
That's my Jason.
But she's not my mother.
They want to hurt you, Jason. Don't let them.
So she's going to go into the cabin. She's going to lay a trap.
Get up, Jason. Find them. Kill them. They want to hurt you,
I think she's
Jason.
put a penknife.
Don't
Yeah,
let them.
councillors can also find items like a penknife. So if you get grabbed by Jason, you instantly get away by jamming it into his neck. They can also find stuff like first aid sprays. They can find bear traps. They can find, like I said, weapons. They can find flare guns, firecrackers, shotguns. They can also find radios, which makes the so we're just gonna try. Her stamina's obviously going, so we can eventually just grab her and try and do an environmental kill, maybe. Or just choke them. But you can do environmental kills as well. I don't know how you do them yet. I did accidentally jam a guy's head in a door.
That's my boy. Hunt them down and make them pay.
And as you can see, I've got my rage meter now, which means that I get all my abilities really quickly. Alright, okay, let's enter guard mode. Right, okay, well, we'll have a look, see where people are. So they're over there. I think they may be trying to get into a car or some sort of vehicle. So let's go next to the car. Okay, this guy might have glitched. In fact, I think the game's glitched. Oh well, fantastic. Connection lost to host. That is one of the things that is really, really shit about this game so far, is the fact that if somebody dies, and that obviously, depending on the person, how impatient they are, or whatever, if they die and then obviously rage quit or want to go as a different lobby, because you'll get these arseholes that'll just constantly want to be Jason and just don't really want to make the game work, you know, the kind of Call of Duty mentality that ruins every multiplayer game. You know, if they don't get in fast, and you know, it kind of fucks the whole thing up. It's very impatient. then unfortunately the whole server, not the server, but the whole lobby will go. So if I'm the host and I leave, then the whole match will end, and that's annoying. Because when you die, and if you don't come back in as the guy with the shotgun, then basically you just sat there waiting to see how the game unfolds and what to watch, which I find quite entertaining. But yeah, that's one of the little annoying things. But like I said, I can't be too harsh on it because it is a work in progress. It's not a full game. It's still being worked on. It's a Kickstarter game. Like I said, it's been worked on by about 15 people. But I think what they've got, for me, I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of happy with it. I can look past, and I know I've said in the past about games like Mass Effect coming out and No Man's Sky and Battlefront and all these other games like Division and stuff that come out kind of broken or that have problems and issues, and it's like, well, yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to come out. And I'm sick of games coming out that are unfinished or have issues or don't work or crash like Mafia 3. But I think you can I think you can give a little bit of leeway for a Kickstarter project when you know full well that the game's not even finished. So I think I'm probably going to be a counsellor next, but I'm not going to sit here and talk for it, because sometimes it takes quite a while to get into a game. Sometimes it's really quick. I will show the counsellors whilst I'm here. I'll do the Jason's first, since this was a Jason's video, but that's Jason's part 3. You can see you can unlock perks. You can buy perks, squash heads, knock heads, stamp on heads, and then there's these weapon kills that are specifically to do with this specific Jason from the specific movie. So part 3, they're the kills that he did in part 3. There's obviously the weapon. It tells you the weaknesses and the strengths. So this Jason can run, which is kind of cool. You've also got part 9, and they've got that's locked till level 31. You've got part 8, which is locked till level 20. You've got part 6, which I've unlocked, and that has a spear, and they have different spear kills from the movie. Part 2, which is the original Jason, he's locked at level 13. You can't look into his perks. Part 7, which I've just played, and there's more Jasons to come, because obviously there's like 15 movies, which is ridiculous. And then you got the counsellors. So you got Vanessa Jones, which is like the sporty girl, who obviously is the girlfriend of the jock, who's like the hard-hitting black dude. He's locked at level 8. You've got perks. You can roll perks. You can buy perks. Get CP points by finishing a match to get an XP, escaping via police and stuff like that. You get less experience by just lasting the 15 minutes of the round. It really does encourage you to try and escape. But we're into a game, so I might as well stay in the lobby and stay in this video. But I just know, because the gaming world is kind of ruthless with games, that if it comes out and it's not a perfect game, then it gets absolute, rightly so. If it's a AAA title, I can understand that, but this is like a really small studio. I think Adam Sessler's involved in this as well. I enjoy it. I'm kind of enjoying it. It's quite addictive, especially when you get into a party with a few people. Oh, the connection timed out. I'll keep looking at the counsellors, and then I'm going to load another video. So Vanessa Jones, Adam Plemiano, who's like the biker dude, who's the boyfriend, I'm assuming, of AJ Mason, who's a goth chick. Eric LaChapa, who's the nerd. Obviously, if he has a girlfriend, I'm assuming it's going to be Deborah. Like we've already covered him, we've covered her. He's obviously the posh twat that nobody likes, and I'm assuming he's going to be going out with the slutty chick who's called Tiffany. Of course, she's called Tiffany. Showing a bit of shoulder there. Jenny's kind of like, she looks like the one who would survive, and maybe this is her boyfriend, and he would die. He's like the average kind of. His stats are just totally level. You can unlock clothes as well, which I don't understand why that's a thing, because the clothes aren't a massive different or a massive far cry away from what the original clothes are. You change her top to a slightly darker colour. The skirt's different, and the boots, but you know, it's just another little ad, I suppose. We've also got him, he's like the average dude. You can change the colour of his top. Tiffany, who's obviously the slut, and Deborah, who's the nerd, the bit of the Velma chick going on, who's got amazing repair skills. They've all got different skills. Deborah's obviously best at repairing. The slutty girl's got good stamina and stealth, which is surprising. Absolutely shit at repairing because she'll be ditzy as fuck. Terrible strength. He's average. Great composure, great luck. I don't know what luck does. We'll have a look. Increases weapon durability and gives minor increases to many other stats. Okay. Composure reduces the rate of fear. I think fear plays into the game as well. If you are scared, if you see a dead body, if you play as a counsellor and you see one of your teammates' dead body, you freak out. If you make loud noises, if you're on your own, if you're on your own away from other counsellors, you shit yourself and Jason can find you more easily. So it's got quite a bit of depth, this game. It's not just like run around and fucking, you know, like evolve, and it's like totally, you know, when you were the monster you were kind of unbalanced really, against the humans. But I was playing, I got a trophy the other day and I killed everybody. Even killed the guy that they phoned in, the guy with the shotgun. And I got a lot of trophies for that, which was cool, and it felt really satisfying. So I'm kind of, I think they've got a good foundation for a game if they're going to keep adding stuff and building it. But you know, like I said, you can also pick what you prefer to spawn as. I always pick Jason because it is very, very rare you get to pick as Jason. You're always going to get, you've got a 1 in 7 chance of being Jason, so I always put Jason. And that was Jason. It's a shame we didn't get to see the whole round, but I'm going to end this video and upload this one and then start another one as a counsellor. I might even stream a bit of this tonight. Also got Injustice 2, which is a fucking awesome fighting game. So I'm going to play some of that as well. I might even stream some of that because I'm really getting into that game. That is an amazing game with a fuck ton of content. So cheers guys, and I will continue this Jason Friday the 13th kind of video in the next one. So thanks very much.